Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my speaking skills series, we're doing what will probably be our final class on speaking skill of discussing a theme. We're going to take it one step further this time. We've been using pictures to discuss themes, so we're going to do maybe one more skill that we can add to our use of pictures, which is a great skill, especially if you're going to do an exam, but it's also good just to help you generate English quickly. I'll give you some techniques to use. That's a little bit about the class. Here's a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words, and in this case, techniques that you're learning. So if you use them actively, I can give you feedback and corrections. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And you'll notice I just put a link in the chat window. So you're going to use that link to open our shared notes. Let me get my things working here on screen. And if you don't see it for some reason, I'll give you a second link here in the group chat, which you should. So you'll see one or the other. You're going to open that up. And as soon as it loads for me, I'm going to show this to you as well. Hang on just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to quickly share my screen with you. All right. So when you open up that, you'll see the speaking skills graphics, so you know you're in the right place. If you're like me, it takes a minute to open this on the Google Hangout. Okay, so click on the link and open that up. Who's there? I can't see. Abby, I see, and...
Hi.
Hi, Abby, and looks like Victor. Okay, great. So if you can, open the link in the chat window. I'm going to try to share my screen as much as I can, all right? But I'm going to be adding pictures and notes to the document. So it might be a good idea that you open it, because I'm going to be updating it. So on the second page, you've got my contact and the table of contents. The table of contents is important because, let me just update it here. For 2 reasons. How to describe a photo or a picture. We're going to be using that advice. And I'm going to create a new class right now, which is going to be class 19, because we're going to add a new skill, the last skill to the picture, the theme of describing pictures and abstract. This time it's going to be, I meant to say, this time it's going to be about talking about abstract things. So this is going to be part 5. We're going to call this class 19. The, what, 16th? Yeah, 16th of July. All right, so let's do it like this. Give me just a second here. Okay, so in the previous classes, I'm going to be adding information there, but just a quick review. In the previous classes, like class 18 and 17, what you had was a set of pictures, and we went through basically 3 stages. All of what we did was to get you to be able to produce language, or maybe descriptive language, in a really quick way. So if you go up to the top here, which says how to describe a photo or a picture, we started off by giving you 4 steps. Say what you see, And there are a few key expressions like it appears to be, it seems to be. Guess or speculate about why you're seeing it. There might be, I suppose, I'd imagine, compare and contrast it with something else. Or you can compare and contrast the photos themselves. Well, whereas the one on the left is about dancing, the one on the right, both of them have people that are doing X, Y, and Z. And then finally, offering a personal preference, if it's possible. And I should add to that, another thing you could do is reach a conclusion. In other words, you go beyond description now, and you try to say something that is your own original thought, or that you prefer one type of thing to another. So you've got two ways that you can end this. All right, so this is a suggestion of how to approach describing photos. We've been practicing that for maybe 3 weeks. In the last class, I believe we added a new skill where you've got to comment on each other's descriptions. So let me just double check here. And for that, give me just a second. I want to add some of the key descriptive phrases as well. I'll put these on the board for you. Hang on just a second. Oops. I don't know if I can. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can copy and paste this from my notes. No, I can't. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can just write it manually. One moment, please. Okay, I'm going to add a new section here that says, there it is. Okay, I've got it there below. I didn't see it. All right, instead of describing a photo, we're going to call this how to comment on a partner's opinion, something like that. So we've got agreeing, disagreeing, making a suggestion, clarifying, justifying, and asking for an opinion. And we have a few key expressions there already. So that was the skill we added in the last class. And finally, I'm going to add one more today, which we're going to practice. We're going to try the first two, but we're going to add one more skill. How to extend a comment description. Maybe what I should be say to be more clear here is how to talk more abstractly. How to talk abstractly. In other words, you're extending something that was said. Okay, and here we've got a few things we're going to look at. Basically 3 parts. We're going to look at adding fillers in English. Give me just a second to get this on the board. There we go. Adding fillers. Responding to a question. And then the last one is going to be developing your answer. So I'm doing this as kind of as I said, something you might do in an exam, but it's just a good technique no matter what you're doing. It gives you some extra language and a strategy. An example of adding a filler would be something like, well, let me see, or let me think. A filler is something that gives you a little extra time. Hang on just a second here. responding to a question. Okay, here's an example. What I think about it is, got a cleft sentence there. No, that should say what, not once. Sorry. What I think about it is, you can always say, of course, it seems to me that. And finally, developing your answer. We've got a few different ideas here. So if I really think about it, I could say that. So if I really think about it, I could say, just an example. So all of these are just key expressions you can use to help make a transition between thoughts or to introduce something new. It also occurs to me that, all right, okay, so those are some new key expressions, and this is the last skill we're going to add, how to talk abstractly. In other words, how to extend a comment that someone's made or extend a description that that you've made. So we'll come back to those and I'll give you a chance to use them. First, I'm going to give you a new set of pictures. We're going to go through the other stages once, and then we're going to add the new stage of talking abstractly. So let me give you something that you haven't seen before. Hang on just a minute, because I've got a few stock photos ready for you. Give me just a second there. Okay, let's see if I can, how am I going to do this? Give me just a second. It's a little bit complicated to get the pictures on there. Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to paste these under today's class. And hopefully you'll be able to see them. I'll share my screen. I'll just have to download this so it's a little bit easier for us to see. Okay, there's the first one. Put it there. Hold on. Sorry, it's a little difficult to use stock. Give me just a second here. One second, sorry. Okay, I've got two of these. If I'm going to have to do this in a strange way, I'm going to have to share this as a continuous document or you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so you've got those two there. And the last one, these go together in a set. Maybe what I can do is make it a little bit smaller on my screen so that you can really see these. Give me just a second here. Yeah, I'm going to try to make these a little bit smaller so we can see them in one place. There's that. This one we can shrink down. Okay. And finally this one as well. Okay, well, I can't get them all on the same screen. Okay, but anyway, let's get started. Maybe if I can just move this down, put it here. There we go. Yeah, close enough. Not perfect. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you, we're going to try to do as much as we can with this first set of pictures, okay? We're going to, just to review, we're going to go through the first 4 steps, and I'll point them out to you as we go along. In the second round, you're going to comment on what the last person said using the second set of skills. And again, I'll go back to that part so you can see what we're doing. Then I'm going to introduce a few abstract questions, and you're going to extend one of your answers. And those will be the new key expressions. So we'll do it as a group first. Then I'll give you a second set of pictures afterwards, and you'll do it on your own after we've done it as a group and you get used to it. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm just going to share the pictures on the screen. You can see them in the document, okay? But I'm just going to share a PDF that I have. And I'll tell you also, I'll remind you what pages you need to look at if you want to use the key expressions, okay? Okay, so you can see these now in one place. So, going back to, there we go. Going back to page, hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Going back to page 4 in our notes, okay? The thing that you opened on your computer. Going back to page 4 in the notes. If you want to use, if you want to cheat, go back to how to describe a photo or a picture on page 4. Look at those 4 steps, and you can use any of those key expressions. Now I'm going to turn it over to you, and here's what I want you to do. Abby and Jason, okay, you're going to describe something that you see. You describe, and I'm going to see if I can write this so that we have a record of what we did as a class, okay? So, Abby, you're going to take the first picture on the upper left, okay? Jason, you're going to take the picture on the lower left, okay? And we're just going to start with maybe step 1 and step 2. In other words, say what you see, and if you like, you can extend it by guessing why you see it. In other words, what are the pictures, what's the theme, what's the commonality, okay? So Abby, let's start with you. You only have to say 1 or 2 things because this is a group exercise. It's going to be really fast. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Okay. On this picture, it appears to be that there are 2 students, a girl and a boy. I'm not sure if the other one is a boy. I think so, right?
It's an emo.
Okay,
it's an emo. It's androgynous. We don't know. Maybe it's a girl, maybe it's a boy, maybe it's both. We don't know.
Okay, whatever. So they are trying to put some ingredients. So maybe they are cooking something. I suppose that they are taking a cooking class, and they are trying to make 1 or 2 recipes.
Okay, good. By the way, I'm writing this on page 6, so you'll see it appear in just a second. Then we're going to look at our answer together. I suppose that they are, you said, taking a cooking class.
Yes.
And they are recipes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Recipe. I'm going to correct this at the end, okay?
Okay.
Unless I see a major problem, then I'll correct it. But there's no major problem here, okay? So it sounds good so far. And I'll put your name too so we know who's who. But I will make suggestions at the end, okay? Okay, so far so good. So it sounds like you did step 1 and step 2. Say something you saw and guess about why. It's good. Okay, Jason, we're going to go on to you. You're looking at the second picture on the left. And if you want to go on to step 2, I don't really want you to compare and contrast yet, but I would like you to think about what the 2 pictures have in common That will be your theme. In other words, why are we being shown these two pictures? Okay? But let's start with step one. Say what you see
Yes.
and use the expressions on page 4 to help you. Okay?
It it appears to be a driving lesson with one teacher and one student. Um, it teacher may watch
May
the
may what?
may watch the speed the speed the speed the speed of the car,
Okay.
and it might be a lesson as part of examination of final examination to get the driving license.
Okay, so far so good. Do you want to go on to step 2 about speculating about why you're seeing this? And here you can include the first picture as part of your speculation.
I think there is most likely to no, it's I think the students pass the may pass the exam to get his driving license. Yeah.
Okay. It's not about the theme though, Jason. What do the two pictures have in common in terms of theme? Theme. Do you know what I mean by theme?
Yeah. Uh, the both picture have in common a, uh, a course. It's
Ah, okay, good.
uh,
A course of some kind, right?
yes.
Okay. Okay, that's good enough for now. It's fine. So I've got that written on page, both of your things there on page 6. Okay, so now we're going to go on to, I think it's, in my screen it's Shafar, is that you? It is, Shafar. Okay,
Yes.
so Shafar, you're going to take a look at the picture on the right. This time, you're going to say what you see. You can speculate about why you're seeing all 3 images now. And you're going to go on to the third step of comparing and contrasting. So you got to keep it really short, okay? You don't have to say a lot,
Okay.
but you need to say at least one thing for each of those categories, let's say. And remember, go to page 4 to help you with your key expressions. Okay?
Okay.
Page 4 in the notes, that is. Go to page 4 in the notes
Okay.
to help you with the key expressions. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, and
It
speak
appears.
slowly.
Yeah.
Speak slowly because your connection is a little bit difficult to hear. So speak a little bit slowly, okay?
Yeah. It appears to be a woman painted herself, and uh, there might be uh, there might be some color in the painting, and I think that uh, it's quite clear that this man trying to finish its painting, and I feel strongly that it's going to be a best painting.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I had a little trouble hearing you. You said it's good that this woman is trying to finish the painting? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Finish the painting.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Finishing.
hold on. So hard right here. I feel strongly, see that part again, I feel strongly that,
I feel strongly that
Yeah? That what?
yes, the this moment, this painting is the best painting. Uh,
Why is it the best
yeah,
painting? Why?
uh, because his face is same with
Her
the
face.
painting. I
Wait, wait.
think
Her
uh,
face. It's a girl.
her
Her
face,
face. Yeah.
her face will same with the painting, and yeah,
Okay, well, Shafar, here's the thing. You should okay, that's fine. You can say that. That I feel that the painting is turning out because it does resemble her. Okay, I'm going to change that expression to turning out well. Turning out well. That means that the result is good. Is that clear?
yes,
Instead of
uh,
saying it's the best painting, because we don't know about her other paintings, we can't compare them. But we can say that it's turning out well, that the result looks good. And just one more thing. At the very beginning, you said it appears to be a woman, and then I couldn't hear you. And then you said,
uh, it appears to me that a woman trying to painting herself.
okay, it appears to me, okay, it's a little hard to hear you. It appears to me that a woman is trying to paint herself. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, good, good. It's fine. All right. So we're going to move on to, I think Victor is next, if I remember right. Okay, I just saw Abraham. You just joined us now. Abraham, follow along for a minute. Just follow along and we'll get to you in a second. Victor, here's what
Yeah.
you're going to do. Um, you're going to go, Shafar didn't really compare and contrast, okay? So if you go to page 4 of our notes,
Yes.
and
I'm on.
you see how to describe a photo, I want you to focus on comparing and contrasting the three photos. You've got some key expressions like whereas, conversely, both things have or both pictures have. And you've also got this expressing an opinion section too. I think that it seems to be what I think is that it's quite clear. I feel strongly that those opinions are I should really move those down, because those are actually really more about offering a personal preference. I'm going to move those down. So you can do steps 3 and 4, but you're talking about all three photos now. You can mention anything that anyone else mentioned. You can pick up any details that Shafar, Jason, or Abby mentioned already in making your comparison. Okay? Want to give it a try?
Yes. Uh, I have a vocabulary question.
Sure.
I, whereas.
Whereas is the same as but.
Uh-huh.
The difference is that but goes in the middle of a sentence and whereas goes in the beginning. For example, whereas I am an American, most Americans live in the United States, but I live in Europe. It's like saying even though I'm an American, I live in Europe. So it's basically a contrast. It's the same as but.
Conventionally, I'm not
And
sure that I know this word.
yeah, but that's fine, no problem. What I did is I put some contrast words you could use. So whereas and conversely they mean the same thing. All of those mean the same thing. Whereas, conversely, in spite of, despite, these are all contrast words. Contrast. All of them mean the same as but. They're used in a different way. They're used in different ways. So what I can do is you try to use them in a way that sounds good to you, and I'll correct you.
I have a question. Whereas we can use this word for more than two things when we compare the things.
For more than two things. No,
Yeah.
whereas is really with two things. It's usually with two things, two situations.
Okay. I can't use this word when I want to say, for example, free. All free photos has main idea. Want to show main idea. I can use various of these photos has
Not
main thing.
unless you can only use it that way if you're comparing the three photos to something else. Whereas these photos show types of classes, those photos show types of recreation. So you were right in the first time. You were right the first time. It's really about comparing two things, but it could be two groups of things. But it's
Okay.
really about showing the contrast between two things. Conversely is a little different. Conversely is a contrast, but there you want to put emphasis that something is really different. I don't know, like, um, he went to work every day. Conversely, his brother stayed at home and played video games. It's just there to show a strong contrast with the second thing. So they're almost the same. Anyway, you try it in your way, and I'll correct it at the end. I'm going to do corrections for all of these at the very end. Okay? So let's
Okay.
try comparing and contrasting all three photos. Think about what they have in common, and think about what's different about them. Okay?
Okay. All of these photos have a main goal. It's some class of to do something, but left first photo and second photo, I think both this have um more practical class for life. But last photo, when the girl paints some picture, this photo less practical than, for example, can driving on can cooking, for example.
Okay, good. Good.
For girls, it's the best class for.
Only for girls? Oh, you must be kidding.
I
Guys
think
cook all the time.
yes, guys can also
Not
uh,
as well, maybe.
should also can cook, but for girl, I think if a girl can't uh, cook, I think it's terrible.
You must never have seen NASCAR. Girls are also good drivers. You gotta go to NASCAR in the United States. Okay, that's good enough for now. It's good enough for now. We're gonna get. I'm gonna. You can use whereas, by the way, in this way instead of saying but like you did, because you said, but the last photo is less practical than a cooking class. You could say whereas, Victor. You could say whereas the first and second.
Whereas,
Actually, I should say whereas in the first and second photos, both of these show more practical classes for your life.
yes,
Okay, get rid of the but because you said whereas. Whereas in the first and second photos, both of these show more practical classes for your life. The last photo, when you go, when you say what you said, when you go to paint some sort of is, not it's, is less practical than, say, taking a cooking class.
okay,
So look, whereas is a contrast word. You put it in the beginning. Take out the but because you don't need it. And I gave you another good connector, say. Say is another way of saying for example.
Okay.
So at the end, I give you that. It's less practical than, say, taking a cooking class. All right?
Yes. Okay.
So actually, I've already corrected yours. Yours is pretty much okay. And Yuki, well, Yuki and Abraham, actually,
Yes.
you're new. So Yuki, I'd like you to focus on, he just did basically comparing and contrasting. I'd like you to focus on either reaching a conclusion about all of these or offering a personal preference about one of these. So in other words, you could pick up on something he said in the compare and contrast stage of stage 3, and you're going to move on to stage 4 and see if you can reach a conclusion about all 3 pictures. You're going to give it a try anyway. Are you up for the challenge?
Okay, Victor, I take your point. I also think that these pictures indicate some kind of classes, and they are practicing to improve their skills of something. And what I meant by they make every effort to improve their skill to enjoy their life, or to get a better job. I think practice makes perfect. So they let me see what I think about it is. It is a good thing for everyone to improve our skill to get better life, to spend better life. I don't know.
All right, it's a good thing for everyone to improve their skills, you said, to improve their skills to get a better life.
Yes, it seems to be that it's good that it's good to improve our skill to get a better life.
Okay, okay. We're gonna take all of these now and try to correct them as a group. Okay, because what we've got here between the 4 of you is one answer that you could have said in a test situation. So let's start from the very beginning. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over to the rest of you with a new set of pictures in a minute, and then Abraham, you can join in as well for that. Okay, so Ebby said, it appears to be that there are 2 students. Ebby, you can't use the that, or you don't need to use the that in this situation. How could you correct that beginning sentence, Ebby? And you can see it on page 6 if you want to take a look at the notes. In fact, let me share my screen so you can we can all look together. So give me a second. Take a look here. Do you see the problem with that in the sentence, Debbie?
Yes. So we should cancel that?
Cancel? Like cancel your subscription to a magazine? Or do you mean get rid of?
Yeah, get rid of that.
Okay, let's try it. See if it sounds. It appears to be there are. Uh-oh, still got a problem. We gotta get rid of more things. How about this one? Get rid of to be, and look at it now. What do you think? Sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It appears there are 2 students, a girl, oops, I should say a girl and a boy. Fine, it sounds good. We don't need it. When we don't need it, it's best to take it out. English should be as short and concise as possible. So we only use that if we're pointing at something. Look at that. if we're not using it as a pronoun, then we generally take it out. I mean, you don't have to, but it sounds a little better. It appears there are two students, a boy and a girl. They are trying to put some ingredients. Okay, look at the second sentence. Put. You can't just put something. You have to put it somewhere. So what can you add to that sentence to make it make sense? Right? We're missing information. They're trying to put some ingredients. You can also change it.
You can say together.
We're trying to put some ingredients together. Okay, in that case, maybe the word put is not the best word.
Mix.
Okay, that makes sense. They're trying to mix some ingredients together. Okay, that's fine. If we're going to say put, we'd have to say they're trying to put some ingredients into a bowl. We have to put it somewhere. But if you use mix, it's fine the way it is with together. Okay, so it appears there are two students, a girl and a boy. They're trying to mix some ingredients together, or maybe you can add, I suppose. Whoops, hold on, I just closed my document. 1 second. I suppose they're trying to mix some ingredients together. They are trying, I suppose, I don't want to put the, I want to put the suppose afterwards. That will sound better. They're trying to mix some ingredients together. I suppose they are trying to make something good. I suppose again, oh, we don't want to say it twice. So we want to say, I suppose they're trying to make something and are taking, and I suppose they're trying to make something in a cooking class. And then maybe we gotta add a different speculating word here, like perhaps they are trying. Oh, I just lost my page. Sorry. It's a little hard to write and speak at the same time. Okay. Here it says they are trying new recipes. Perhaps they are trying new recipes. We have to add one word, Epi. Trying is very general. But in English, we like to use phrasal verbs. Like instead of saying get, we would say get on or get in or get out or get up. They all have more specific meanings. What preposition can I add to the sentence to show that they're trying something for the first time? In other words, not just try, but try what? I need a preposition here. Try. Prepositions in, out, up, down, around, across.
Is it up?
Try up? Almost. There is no try up. Try again.
Try in, try on. I don't know.
They are trying on new recipes. They are trying in new recipes. Uh-oh. Class, what do you think?
Trying out.
Trying out is correct. Perhaps they are trying out new recipes. Trying out. Okay?
Okay.
I'll put, so that's a good key verb for you because it's much more specific than try. Try is just general. Trying out really means doing something for the very first time. So it's a good word. Okay? And as always, I'll put our key expressions, our key connectors in bold so everyone can see them right away. And these are things that you can use in the future. It appears, I suppose. Okay? Jason said also, it appears to be a driving lesson. Here, I'm going to just change something. I'm going to say, this photo, just because if we read this together, it'll sound better if we specify it's a new photo. This photo appears to be a driving lesson with one teacher and one student. Jason, what's the problem with one teacher and one student? What's the problem there?
We are not. It's not an obligation to put one.
Exactly. It's not only not an obligation, we really shouldn't put one in English. So what should we put? What article? A, and the. Which article?
This photo needs to be.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. No, I repeat the phrase to myself.
Oh, you're repeating the phrase to yourself. Okay. But it's a noun, so you need an article. Articles are a and the.
With a.
Exactly. So not one, like in French. Maybe in French it translates as one, but we only use one kind of at the end of a sentence. I saw many types of dog food at the supermarket. The cheapest one was called Puppy Bark. I don't know. The cheapest one. So there we can use it to not repeat dog biscuits or whatever I said. I mean, so kind of at the end of a sentence or after you've already introduced an idea, then you can use one. Okay, but here it's not necessary. So this photo appears to be a driving lesson with a teacher and a student. And the teacher, okay, we don't want to use and, we want to use an and connector. Can you think of a connector we could use instead of and?
Then?
Say again?
Then the teacher, then?
Then would be more about time. First, he put on his shoes, then he walked out the door. So it has a lot more to do with time usually. I want an and connector, an addition connector.
Yeah, I don't know if it's correct, but furthermore.
Okay, good. It's correct. It's good. In fact, let's use it.
But I have just one question.
Let's use further instead of furthermore, because furthermore is a little bit too formal for this situation. So take off the more, and you've got a good and connector. Further, you can say furthermore, but that sounds like you're writing a dissertation. So you don't need to be so formal. Further, it seems, and we don't need to say that. It seems the teacher may watch. Okay. Here, you're looking at a picture. So Jason, you don't need to say may, because you're looking at the picture and describing it. You can say the teacher is. The teacher is watching the speed of the car. Yeah, maybe he's nervous. Who knows? So do you see why I changed may to is, Jason?
Yes, you put the present continuous
Uh-huh.
to make sense to the phrase.
But do you know why I use the present continuous? Do you know why, or is it not clear?
The teacher is watching.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all. I can barely hear you.
It's not clear.
It's not clear. Okay, look, when you're looking at a picture, you and the person you're speaking with are in the room experiencing the picture in the same moment, in the present. So when you're describing a picture, it's okay to use the present tense. It's okay to talk about the actions in the picture in the present continuous as if they're happening in the moment, right? So you don't need to say that he may be watching the speed, looking at his eyes, so you're describing what his eyes are doing, which is an action. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're describing in a photo, present continuous. So this photo appears to be a driving lesson with a teacher and a student. Further, it seems the teacher is watching the speed of the car. Maybe he's nervous. Now here it's okay to say may. It may be this may be part of the examination. I would get rid of that. Maybe part of the final examination to get their driving licenses. Okay. I changed it from lessons to licenses because that's the of the examination. I think both pictures have in common a course of some kind. Okay. I think both pictures have in common needs to go at the end. I think both pictures show people taking a course of some kind. Now, look, Jason, if we want to say have in common, we can say it like this. I think what both pictures have in common is they show people taking a course of some kind. So you see what I had to add what before have in common. So this is called a clef structure. What I think is, when you have that what I think is structure, it's called a clef, and what you do is you add what or you add that at the beginning, and it gives extra emphasis to what you're about to say, the fact that they are taking a course. Okay? So what we have so far, it sounds pretty good. If I were in a test situation and I heard this from a student, I would think this student really knows English pretty well. Listen to it from the beginning. It appears that there are two students in the first picture, a boy and a girl. They are trying to mix some ingredients together. I suppose they are trying to make something in a cooking class. Perhaps they are trying out new recipes. But in the second photo, this appears to be a driving lesson with a teacher and a student. Further, it seems that the teacher is watching the speed of the car. Maybe he's nervous. This may be part of the final examination to get their driving licenses. But I think what both pictures have in common is they show people taking a course of some kind. Sounds great. Sounds like a really good answer, actually. Let's do this. I want to give Abraham a chance to speak, and we're going to run out of time. So I'm going to stop the corrections for a minute. Okay? I'm going to go back to the photos. And maybe Abraham and Ali, I don't know if you've been following the class, but maybe I could give you a chance before we run out of time to try these skills out, the ones we've just been correcting, in a new set of pictures. Okay, so let's do this. And I'll finish the corrections on my own after class. So Shafar and Yuki and Victor, you can see the corrections a little later today. Okay, I'll do it on my own because if we waste class time, I won't give everyone a chance to speak.
It would be very much appreciated if you could correct our speech.
But I just said I'm going to correct it. I just said that.
Okay.
That's exactly what I said. I said I'm going to correct it. But if I do it right now, I won't give everyone a chance to speak. So what I'll do is, after the next class,
I'm afraid there would be no time to correct our...
No. After class, I'll correct it. After class.
Okay.
Okay? There is no time to do it now. We only have 2 minutes left. But I will correct it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so we're going to finish up. I want to give Abraham and Ali a chance. Okay? So we've only got 2 minutes. So I'm going to be silent. And Abraham, if you've been following the class and you've got your notes open, you and Ali, for you, you've got to click on the link to look at the notes. But basically, if you go to page 4 and you use the key expressions, you can go through all 4 steps there. Say what you see, guess about why, compare and contrast, and reach a conclusion. Use the key expressions there to help you. Abraham, you're going to focus on the picture on the left first. Ali, you're going to focus on the picture on the right, on the top right, and then the two of you are going to compare and contrast together and maybe reach a conclusion as a team. But we're going to keep it really short because we only have a minute. Okay? Abraham, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, go for it. Talk about the picture on the left.
In the first picture, I can see cheerleader girls.
Wait a second. Don't forget to use your key expressions. It seems to be, there appears to be, or if you're going to say, instead of saying I can see, just I see. Not I can't see, because we don't need to know about your ability. It's I see.
Okay, so in the first pictures, it appears to be a cheerleader. No, it's not right.
There appear to be cheerleaders.
They appear to be cheerleaders. Uh, maybe cheerleader guys holds them in their back. It's for the audience amusement, I think.
Okay, that's good enough for now. Hang on a second. We'll come back to you in a second. Ali, same thing for the picture on the top left. Tell us what you see, and maybe compare and contrast a little bit if you like. I'm sorry. Say what you see and guess about why you're seeing it.
Do you hear me?
Yes, Ali.
Yes. I should talk about the left one or the right one?
Sorry, the top right. The top right.
The top right.
So Abraham said Abraham talked about the left. There appear to be
Yes.
cheerleaders being held up by cheerleader guys, and they're doing something for the amusement of the audience. Okay, it's good. What would you say about the top right?
Actually, I see two guys. One of them is standing on top of I don't know, the
A unicycle.
unicycle.
Right, one wheel. It's a unicycle.
Yeah, one of them riding a unicycle, and the other one is standing on top on a stuff. I don't know what's the name of
A
that
platform, a little platform maybe.
platform, and they are throwing some stuff to each other and playing for the crowd, and the crowd are looking.
The crowd is looking at them. Is looking.
Crowd, yeah, the crowd is looking them.
That's good. That's good for now. That's good. The only thing I would add is instead of throwing, you could say that they're juggling, because that's actually what they're doing. They're juggling batons. So not throwing at each other, but juggling the batons.
Juggle. What's the difference between juggle and throw?
Throw is when you're trying to hit someone. Juggle is when you're trying to catch and throw it back. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've really got to stop because I have to start the next class on time. So I've got to stop right now. All of you, go after the next class. I'm going to correct what you've done. I'm going to correct your texts. So go back and take a look after the next class. Give me 2 hours or so, and I'll have it corrected for you. And we will continue this in the next class. But right now I'm going to start the business class. We're working on how to motivate. Okay? See you in just a minute. Bye for now, everyone. Bye for now.